Hi everyone. Welcome to Inspire, Innovate, Ignite Conversations That Count series, bringing together specialists from around the world. Actually, we might have most of us from Aussie here today. And we're going to discuss topics that are at a deeper level and help you become more empowered to integrate the tips and elements that we talk about into your day-to-day life. So today, our special panelists are discussing dismantling money blocks and thrive. So if you're feeling like you're cycling in money stress, if you're earning good money, but you're always feeling broke, or maybe even you're not receiving the financial recognition for your value, or in your relationships, you could be constantly fighting about money, or even the other side, maybe you're even avoiding money conversations with your beloved, then you might want to join this conversation, because our panelists are going to take this into a deep conversation and maybe share some tips that have worked for us. And then, of course, we get to share our links that you're going to be able to connect with us directly if you feel called. So my name is Tanga, and I am the Money Emotional Intelligence Coach, your Money Bestie, and I'm a founder of Your Money Bestie app, which helps you to rebuild your finances from the inside out so you can live your best life and restore your inner money guru tribe, which is one that I host here within the Sacred You community. So as you can see, this topic is pretty near and dear to my heart, and it's my absolute honor to introduce you to our panelists. So we'll start with Vanessa LeBlanc, who is a law of attraction trainer. Hi, Vanessa.
Hello.
She's a marketing and soul business coach, hypnobirthing educator, and Ayurvedic, and I'm so sorry, I always pronounce that with my Kiwi slang, lifestyle consultant. Join Vanessa on your awakening journey to answer your soul calling and contribute to a changing world in a meaningful way and manifest a life that you'll love. So that's our Vanessa. Heather Mitchell, she's a holistic money mentor, finding equilibrium. Hi there, Heather. Now, Heather marries together the spiritual and emotional with the physical. Heather takes people on a colossal journey into their world of money, and she helps them discover their fundamental relationship and behavior around money and success, and correct any areas of concern to get the universe on side and learn how to manage money and build a solid investment portfolio. So Heather runs the Foundations of Financial Freedom Group, mentoring program for both women and couples. Awesome to have you here, Heather. And we've got good old Bronwyn Donahue, a compassionate and grounded international psychic medium and spiritual coach, empowering people with open hearts through an authentic connection to spirit. Bronwyn provides heartfelt readings and powerful coaching to illuminate your pathway. Or, I like this, the non-woo-woo words are Bronwyn talks to dead people, and her passion is to teach the others the unseen world. Amazing. Good to have you here, Bronwyn. And Miss Donna Maltz, hi, good to see you, positivity coach. See, this is my Kiwi slang coming through. Eco-entrepreneur and business consultant, author, show host, blogger, speaker, and holistic chef, specializing in helping others live a legacy lifestyle as change makers and thought leaders. And Donna's motto is, I love this, why retire when I can inspire? Boom, love that. She
Yeah,
is
nice.
the solutionist. Love it, love it, love it. So guys, you're going to be able to get access to each of our panelist members. There'll be links in the post here as well. So I'm super duper excited for this conversation because we're not afraid to go into spaces that many money conversations don't go to. There's a lot of stuff that we see out there, and I know that we're challenging what we're seeing and the empty promises that we're seeing out there in social media, in marketing. So we're going to have these real conversations with our panelist members. And what we'll do is let's start with you getting to know each of our panelist members and their own journeys. So we're going to explore the line in the sand moment in our lives. And that's that moment when something forces you to make a dramatic change. And for me, it was breast cancer. Collectively, it's been COVID. So I'd love each of you to just briefly share what was your line in the sand moment and what changes were you forced to make in your financial direction. So let's start with Vanessa.
Okay, wonderful. Well, hello, everybody. So my journey is probably a little bit different to what you hear, I guess, in most gurus. But I always had a really good career and I was earning quite good money. And then in 2012, I had a dream that I was to go overseas to Russia, but I ended up going to lots of other places as well. So anyway, so I left my really good job. I had to resign from it, which was a bit unfortunate. And on that journey that I took, I ended up meeting my husband-to-be and moved to Canada. And during that time, I wasn't able to work. So I had to rely on my partner at the time to, for all expenses and everything. But anyway, we eventually came back to Australia around, I think it was 2014. But I had a lot of trouble getting a job, and I never had that trouble in the past. And I was just really struggling. Like sometimes I would get an interview, but I couldn't actually secure the job. And then I realized that was a lot to do with how I perceived myself as probably being a bit outdated from not being in a job for about, 2 or 3 years at that point. So I had to really think about what was holding me back. And that's when I really discovered manifesting and sort of understanding that I had to believe that I could get a job and, sort of get over the fact that, I wasn't able to earn money at that time. So I had to really deal with that by kind of getting in touch with self-love and a bit of a plan and sort of working on my belief system that I could get that job. And within a week, I got it. And that was really fantastic. But that kind of set me on a journey where I was getting over money blocks, trying to move through all the money blocks. But then I realized what was actually happening is that I was focusing too much on money blocks and, a perceived problem when it wasn't even there. So I re-looked at my life prior to that journey and realized I had always trusted the universe to give me every single thing that I needed to thrive. I always had, the right job or the right promotion and what have you. And it was all about trust. So that's when I shifted my mindset away from focusing anything to do with money and only on prosperity. Because prosperity means that you get everything that you need to thrive, every resource and opportunity. And when I did that, it takes away the emotional triggers of money because everybody has them and you can work through them, but they'll often come up in different ways. But when you let go of that and trust that anything can happen and come in a variety of ways, you actually take the pressure off yourself. And what I call excess potential, you take away that excess potential and you allow yourself and the universe to deliver it in ways that you couldn't imagine. And I'll say this, that everything that I have manifested in my life, I have never had to find a way to earn more money to do it. So I have been able to just focus on what I really want. And it's a heart's desire, because that's where it's really strong. And then it comes in a variety of ways. And I've never had to do anything to earn more money to do that. And that just goes to show the difference between a money focus and a prosperity focus. And so that's worked out really well for me. And if I have time, can I give an example?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. We're gonna go through this. We're gonna move through these. So this is amazing.
So when I back in 2015, I found out I was pregnant. What I really wanted was to be a stay-home mum. Like, I really wanted to raise my kids myself. That's been a strong desire of me for a long time, and it really came out when I became pregnant with my first child. But that job that I manifested, that I talked about earlier, something very strange happened. It was meant to be a contract role, but some reason in the actual contract that I signed, it was a full-time role. And what happened was 9 months later, the asset was sold that I was working for, and all the staff, including myself, were offered a really good redundancy. And that redundancy allowed me to have that time to raise my children and sort of propel me into that next phase of my life. So that was a heart's desire. I really, really wanted to stay at home. And that's when I realized, when you get in touch with what you really want, especially the bigger picture of how you want your life to play out, the universe will do everything it can to orchestrate all the pieces together in the right way to be able to bring that to fruition. And, you know, if I had instead focused on how am I going to make that happen, and I try and do all this other stuff, what I'm really doing is taking detours, because I'm trying to micromanage what's, good for me. But, when you let go and you learn how to let go and allow anything to do with what you want in your life, money becomes irrelevant. And then it just flows in. And I've had that I've manifested, the property in Australia. Like, I've always wanted a place in Canada and a place in Australia, and that came about. I didn't have to go and earn more money to do that. It was just timing, circumstance, everything just dropped in. And that's kind of what my message is to people, is about letting go of the money side. I mean, there's a few beliefs you're going to have to get over to do with money, to be honest. But the prosperity changes everything, especially from people who are a bit more spiritual find it very hard to focus too much on money, because, they have, I guess there's a bit of a truth about the history of money and the energy of that and what have you. So if you see it as a tool, not like something that you have to chase after, and it's just part of the way things can come in, then it can change things quite rapidly for most people's experience, including my own.
Love that. Thank you so much for sharing that experience. I'm going to keep moving, because there's some stuff I know it's going to come through quite a bit here, and some strong themes as well. And Heather, tell us about your experiences.
Yeah, so in some ways, my experience is similar to Vanessa's. I mean, I've had a few lives of this out, I have to say, but I think my main journey has been in my own self-confidence. It's been such a theme for my whole life, and I was extremely underconfident for most of my life, really. And I think for me, there was this giant line in the sand when my son was 2, and I was just out with the antenatal mums, and we were all chatting, and I just had these moments, especially in groups. I was always pretty bad in groups, and I just had this night out, and I just felt bad afterwards for various things that happened. And I just thought to myself, I don't want my son to catch what I have this kind of low self-esteem. I just thought it's going to come down. I'm just so worried about it. So I went to the doctor, and I ended up with being referred to this amazing place. It was like psychotherapy, but just like a smorgasbord of, it was just amazing. And it literally turned my whole life around. I had to take myself apart and put myself back together again in so many different ways. And I think from then I just built, it was a gradual process, but I built this level of self-esteem in myself, and I built this set of belief systems, and just things just turned around from there. There were just so many kind of, a similar thing with the manifestation. There were just so many things that just manifested in my life, and it was just that amazing sort of division between just me, the old me, the me that didn't believe in myself, the me that just felt really small, to just learning to have that self-empowerment, learning to trust. And the universe has never really let me down. It's just every time anything has ever kind of, anything that's ever happened, it's just kind of manifested. And then well, actually the moment it was the day I found out I was pregnant, actually. So that was 2 years earlier. I'd gone to Tony Robbins, and that was I didn't do the firewalk because that was the day I found out I was pregnant. But that was a really big moment as well, in terms of just learning how to just be and to manifest, and to realize that there is just so much out there, so much in the world, and just to kind of just to relax into it. And we wrote down some plans in terms of what we wanted to happen in our lives, and just like each and every one of them has all come about since then. So it's amazing stuff. The universe works in mysterious ways,
and beautifully mysterious, aren't they? And like my heart's just cracking open just with these first two shares, because it like that power, you can't describe when we shift from that controlled, systemically conditioned mind into suddenly letting go. That there's a lot of courage, and to step into things. And Vanessa, you mentioned it, without controlling, without having that control. It takes a whole lot of courage. Bronwyn, share with us, please. I can't wait.
So for me, my line in the sand kind of showed up in the work that I'm doing. I was a corporate woman and I had businesses before that. So money, and I grew up with a lot of unrecognized money belief blocks placed on me through family, but I was unaware of those. I just thought that's the way it was. And so then I went into corporate life, and I was quite successful, so it wasn't an issue for me. But when I started doing my work, what I do now, so that's purposeful work, that's where it showed up for the first time. And I provided a service to a friend, and a reading service, and I put a really small monetary value on it. And the service was, a good service. But what I noticed was, because of the monetary value that I placed on that service, this friend, which I honored, I adored what she thought, I noticed that someone else that provided the same service to her, that put a higher value on it, she valued that more. And there was the realization that if I don't value what I do, then why should anyone else? And I noticed that I was putting that out there, that I was actually saying, I don't actually value what I do. I don't value the service that I'm providing, because I'm putting my monetary beliefs that I brought through, and there were a lot about, I wanted to keep things a certain value so everyone could access it, make it really affordable, this type of thing. And the intention was great, but there was this whole secondary thing that happened. And so that was a realization. I'm like, okay, I need to actually value myself and value the energy I put into anything that I do, and how I show up in the world, and then other people will value it. whether it be right or wrong. That was just the system that I'm in. This is how it's working. And then the other thing and there was another line in the sand that then made me realize all these beliefs that were playing over in my head. And I have the most amazing opportunity to work with a phenomenal person in Australia. And he was talking about the belief systems and what our family says. Money doesn't grow on trees. Hard work equals money. How we even see ourselves, once again, those values. And I started to be really aware of the conversations that I was having internally, and then that ripple effect that happens within the energetic world. And then the ones that I was exposed to, that I was absorbing. It's like, everything we do is hard. We get nothing easy. It's always hard. These kind of things. And realizing that there was a whole lot of subconscious things that were getting embedded here. And that I needed to start to be really aware of what was in my subconscious, what the conversations that I was having, because it was just reinforcing things, and I had to reset them and I had to change them. And I had to start thinking of money as a number, because I work in vibration. It's all about a number, and to place it in the same space, that it's just a number, and that my vibration, whatever it is, so if I'm doing work, whatever that is a number, and then this exchange is a number, and just getting them to align and to really think of it because I'm quite analytical. I'd say I'm not the woo-woo. I'm that grounded kind of, as I said, ex-corporate girl. So I had to take it to that place. So there was a couple of things for me. One, it was that real identifying that I was playing over other people's stories internally, and they weren't mine. And I was making them mine, and I had to stop it. And as soon as I started to stop it, things changed, because they're their stories and I didn't want them to be mine anymore. And also I had to value myself, because if I don't value myself, why should anyone else value me?
Absolutely.
And that shifted everything.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love that. And again, these themes of self-value are really coming through quite strongly, and especially when we're so used to putting everyone else ahead of us. I'm going to stop. I'm going to give Donna some space here, because these are really great conversations. Donna, please share with us.
So excited to be here, and I loved everything the four speakers shared. Is beautiful. My story, when my line in the sand started, was very early. I was 16, and I came from more or less an upper middle class family in New Jersey, and I live in Hawaii now, so I'm not an Aussie. But I was a kind of like an earth mother, a voice for nature, at a very early age. And I went to Europe on a bicycle trip, and this is in the 1974, and there was not a shopping mall in sight. There were no fast food restaurants. We were camping, sleeping on the earth, waking up to the sunrise, roosters crowing, eating from the boulangerie to the local markets. And my realm of life was upper middle class America, where the world was being devastated by greed of money and greed more and more. And I came home, and after that trip, I would refuse to leave my bedroom. I sat in my Alcatraz prison shirt until my parents allowed me to go camp outside and put a garden in. And I had learned at a very early age to reprioritize what success and wealth meant. I wasn't happy going to the malls and eating fast food, or, with this false economy, this false abundance at a very early age. And that was my first line in the sand. And then I went on to take that into, I finally went to college. I went to very alternative progressive schools and draw another line in the sand when I started interconnecting with other people who were social and environmental activists. And I realized that I wasn't going to work for anybody else. I was going to be working for the Mother Earth. And that was where all the resources, where all the money, actually money doesn't grow on trees. It's a fiber grown from either hemp or cotton. Most people don't realize that. Money does not grow on trees. So we got to blow that myth out in more ways than one. So redefining success and wealth became really clear to me when I was young. But I also, my father was a dentalpreneur. He was a dentist and he was an entrepreneur, and he made really smart investments. And like a sponge, I absorbed his way of doing business, which was from the heart, which was gracious. If a customer couldn't pay for something, he'd trade for artwork, and a lot of that artwork now is in my home. He was in business to serve people. And I saw him make a lot of money and do really good things with his money. And so in 1982, I started the first organic natural foods bakery and cafe in the state of Alaska. And then I went on to start the first organic cocoa and chocolate syrup company in the United States in 92. And it was like a business front for what I started at was redefining success and wealth. Was I was using my businesses as kind of like a storefront or a front for social and environmental activism. And when I had that passion behind me, that redefining success and wealth was to help make the world better for all life kind, for future generations. I wanted to make millions of dollars. I didn't have a problem making money in my restaurant, my national company, and then I started writing books about it or whatever, receiving that money because that money was going not to me, through me into the things that I believe that money is intended for. And so I just think that money is nothing more. I think all of you beautiful women on this shared this. It's nothing but a tool to get what you want, what you need, but really it's what the choices you make with that money. Because when we want and we need, we feel desperate and we're wanting and needing. But when we choose to draw that line in the sand for ourselves and say, money can help my neighborhood, money can help my community, money can help my country, money can help feed hungry people, money can serve. It's that distribution of this wealth. That's that line in the sand that I am trying to, that's why I'm an eco-entrepreneur coach. Making money is easy. Know who you are, know what you love to do, and have a purposeful why. Because that purposeful why is what, money just rains, it comes. And so I encourage anybody who's listening to this to really open up your heart. It's like, why are you making money? Of course you got to pay the bills. Of course you got to do all that. Well, find something you love to do and find and learning how to redefine who you are in this deprivation. Like, I'm going to look at your name because I had a hard time saying it. Brolin was saying, you know, like those old money scripts is bullshit, excuse me. And I think that we have such an opportunity, especially those women, to wise up and rise up and use our maternal and intuitive instinct to understand that our children don't want things. They want us. They want human touch. They want human contact. They want love. They want to live in an area where they can breathe clean air and drink potable water and eat healthy food. And you can be part of that whole movement and make money doing it, because there's grants for that kind of stuff too. But you can also do it as a business. I've never been an NGO. I've always worked for profit, and I've always turned that profit into something positive. And so that's my line in the sand, and my addition to all the other beautiful things you other ladies have shared. Thank you.
Wowza. Oh, I'm loving this. And I love all of the different perspectives that we bring into the table. And I think, Donna, as you're saying, you've really summarized, I guess, where a lot of us have moved out of corporate. have moved out of some system that we've decided, hey, no wonder I'm backing myself up against this thing because it's not in alignment. I've tried to fake it for as long as I could, but it's not sitting well with me. My priorities are going to be to bring something different and unique and help other people in the world reimagine capitalism, reimagine how money is used to shift the world. And I think this is a really great piece of the conversation that we don't hear a lot of. And the purpose in opening it up this way is because we've each then had our own experiences of breaking free of whatever it was that we needed to in order to bring forth what it is that we're actually here on this planet to contribute to humanity and what that looks like, what that feels like through our lens. One of the questions, and most of you raise this, is really understanding, well, whose shame is this? Whose shame am I currently making decisions through, and how do I let that go? Some of you mentioned family and background and culture and systemic things. If we were to peel back all of these layers, and as you have in your journeys, peel back a few layers as they are. And by the way, I'm just going to mention we've got a few people tuning in here. So please, if you've got some things that you would like to ask, or if you've got some comments or thoughts or perspectives, your voice matters. All of our voices matter to move humanity to achieve bigger things, better things that we all know that we're capable of. So please drop some messages here. We've got Sophia who's monitoring that for us as well. But I guess some of us have mentioned the idea of having the faith to break free. And we've talked about the courage of breaking free from whatever is going on in our life at the moment. What's the one thing, and we'll go back in the circle as well. What's the one thing? I know, Vanessa, you were talking about shifting mindset into focusing rather than money onto prosperity. What's the one thing that you would offer to someone who's currently stuck in a job, who's currently feeling miserable, but the only reason they're there is to pay the bills? What would you suggest would be?
I think you have to sort of get yourself into the understanding that we're consciousness having an experience, and you came here with the idea of achieving your highest potential. So you've got this life. Why the hell not? Because otherwise you're just going to live this formula and it's never going to be that satisfying. So you might as well start investing in yourself. Even if you're in a bit of a dead-end job, you start by using that dead-end job to start investing in yourself and making little changes just along the way. And sooner than later, you'll actually be offered another job. I can bet you about $1 you'll be offered a different job, and then you can transition into what you want. But you kind of have to start investing in yourself, understanding who you are and what you want to achieve. You'll formulate a bigger picture of what you actually want from your life, because if you let go of what you don't think you can have and start thinking, well, maybe I can have everything that I want, so what is it that I want? Then everything will fall into place. But it does start with a little change here and a little change there, investing in a little bit of knowledge in terms of self-love, self-belief, understanding the spiritual side of life, and, sort of allowing yourself to tap into that magic to start with, because you're not going to be able to make a big change from here to there in a dead-end job. You have to just start moving and getting that confidence, and it won't take that long really to get to where you want to go, because right now all the energies of the universe orchestrating to get people into their soul calling. So I think this is the time where it's going to happen a lot faster. It's not going to be like we probably all experienced. So it will move a lot quicker.
Absolutely with you on that. The resources that are available for us now, the small micro things that you can do. Amazing. Thank you, Vanessa. Heather, what are your thoughts there?
Well, I think if people are feeling stuck, I think it's there are things like different aspects of ourselves. There are different parts of ourselves that are feeling different feelings. There are different feelings about ourselves, different feelings about money. And I think that we kind of, it's either trauma or it's something which is holding us back. And I think the first step here is to really go inside and really heal a lot of those wounds. We have so many wounds that have come about throughout our lives, even throughout ancestry, that we're sort of walking around with, that we're carrying around within our bodies. And we need to identify exactly what these wounds are and to heal them. Because until we can heal ourselves, it's almost like we just keep getting the same patterns over and over and over again. So it's really just kind of not running away from those feelings. It's like embracing them and really, truly feeling them and getting through them. Because once you've got over all of those traumatic feelings, suddenly all of those blocks and those walls that you put around yourself, the reason why you feel stuck is because there's nowhere for you to go. But if you don't have those fears anymore, then all of a sudden the pathway just opens up, and all of the things that used to get in your own way just aren't there anymore. So it's quite magical. It's not an easy, it's simple, but it's not easy because it involves dedicated practice, but it just shifts away so many layers of crud. It's just so liberating because we're just, literally walking around with this stuff every day of our lives without even knowing it, just knowing that things don't feel great, things don't feel right, but we just don't know why. Just shed all those layers up and just walk through. It's just magical, really.
Oh, it truly is, isn't it? Because as you say, Heather, it's like when we go inside, you're not going to have the tools where you're sitting now based on the experiences you had in the past. If you're wanting to break through that, going back to what Vanessa's saying, it's about resourcing, learning new techniques to help you break through that ceiling, break out of that cycle, because it does become just a cycle until we can learn something new to bring us out. Bronwyn, your thoughts, especially sort of breaking out of corporate world, and what was it that you had to do?
For me, breaking out of corporate world was taken out of my hands in regards to it was more of a divine thing, but so it's a little bit different. But what I want to sort of bring up that I think is important is if we feel stuck in a role and we feel that kind of slave to a situation, because it can feel a bit like that we have no choice. I would encourage anyone that feels like that to consider, one, why they're allowing themselves to be in that place, right? Because we make a choice. So why? And it's that questioning. So why am I allowing this to be either in a workplace I don't like, it doesn't resonate, makes me feel awful, because that shows you where you value yourself. Because this is what we need to look at. If we're in a situation, it doesn't really matter what that situation is, and it is awful. It's a representation of how you feel about yourself because you're allowing yourself to be there. So we have to look at healing and those beliefs about where we sit on our priority list. So we need to look at that. We look at where also our level of love for ourselves is, because we're allowing us to be in a situation that is not good for us. The other thing that we need to consider is the most valuable thing that we have is time. There is nothing more valuable in this existence. And so you're in a role, job, and you're spending one day, which is very, very valuable. You're never going to get it back. You can't redo today. You're going to be in that space and you hate it. And you're around people that drive you crazy and with bosses that are awful and doing things that you just hate. And you're not going to get today back. And then you're going to tell yourself all these stories on why you're doing this. I'm doing this because I need to pay for power. I'm doing this because I have to keep a roof over my head. There's lots of other ways to do that. There's lots of other choices. So consider your choices. So this is complex, and it does take about going internal. There's no, when we go external, it is just a projection. So we need to go internal and look at why. We look at our values for ourselves. The other thing too is this, and when we're in this uncomfortable spot and things don't feel great, I call it the itch on the soul. Your soul's telling you whatever you're doing, and it doesn't matter if it's work, it doesn't matter what it is. If it feels uncomfortable, your soul is bringing that to the surface to remind you you're in the wrong spot and you need to course correct. Remembering that we can't redo today. When I connect on an energetic level and translate with those that are no longer here, now one thing that they never go on about their work, like, oh, I really loved it, I live with purpose, I wish I worked more. No, they don't. So they don't talk about, oh, I wish I owned an extra car or a car. No. It's all about the relationships. It's all about these intangible things that's really important. So the other thing too is next year, and I know we talked on this, next year is a really magical time for Earth and our souls awakening, attuning, leveling up. There's going to be really kind of exciting what happens on our planet in regards to the energy that shifts on our Earth. So that whole people showing up and starting to evaluate this makes sense to me because of what's coming. So if you've got that uncomfortableness, don't ignore it. Know that it is your internal, whatever you want to call it, telling you to look at it because you're not in the right spot.
I love that. And, Bronwyn, just really hitting home that this is about all realms. This is about being able to tap into the resources of everything, the seen and, more importantly, the unseen. There are powerful messages there, and the itch on your soul is a great way to, we all know that feeling too, don't we? It's just like that pull, like, oh, this is what's happening. Donna, reimagining, I still have this whole idea, and I mean, it is about, I'm living this life that has been dictated to me by society, by family, by culture, by everything else that is external. So how do we start to reimagine this life? How can we do that when we're stuck in this 9-to-5 job?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'd like to start off with saying thank you to everybody. What you added was so great, and I don't need to repeat it because I agree. But I also start out with the phrase compost what doesn't serve you and nourish what does. I'm going to say it again, compost what serves you and nourish what does. And when you compost something, if you don't have the right NPK, nitrogen, phosphate, potassium, it rots. When you add in just a little more carbon, it'll fire it up and transform into rich, loamy soil. It's a really important analogy for everybody out there who's struggling with anything. Maybe you just need to add a little something, whether it's education, trauma relief. And if you hang out with 5 people who make more money than you, there's an old saying, you'll make more money. If you hang out with 5 people who are more depressed than you, you'll get more depressed. So composting people and things and situations in our lives just means adding in. What can you add in to burn that trauma or that negativity out and transform faster? Because we don't have a whole lifetime to sit here and decompress what our father did to us or whatever horrible trauma, unless you want to live in that depressed, horrible trauma state, but you wouldn't be on this call. And there are people who need serious intervention. But if people on this call are looking to really make more money and manifest things, you're at a point right now where you're ready to compost what doesn't serve you, nourish what does, redefine success and wealth, and go out there and fire on all cylinders. If you're in a workplace situation and it's uncomfortable and you can't barely stand being there, either make change today. I'm not talking about in a week from now. Make change today. Like go in with a solution. Go to the boss, go to the management, go to your peers or your colleagues who are you're working with and saying, hey, I'm feeling this way. Or maybe we can get together and we can change some of these policies. If it's actually a job that's toxic or a factory working that's really detrimental to your health, are you willing to stay in there another day when you know another day, a year working in a place like this, or even a day can take years and days off your life? There are people out there who want to help you. There are people out there who will do it as a mentor for free. There are people who will do it for a reasonable price or on a sliding scale. There are resources at your library and on YouTube that are free. There are so many things that you can do right now today to get yourself out of any kind of a negative situation that is taking your life force, because you are really an important human on this planet. You're taking up oxygen and you're creating whatever you're creating. It might as well be something that you love to do that's contributing to a better world. And it's not going to be staying in a dead-end place. One of the most important things that I recommend to anybody who's doing this transformation, because I never was in the corporate world. I've always been an eco-entrepreneur, always been a social and environmental activist through all my businesses, which made me millions of dollars over the years. The most important thing I teach people is how to live with less and have more. We don't need 2 cars. We don't need a big house. Everything I wear, even though I can afford it, comes from the secondhand store. What are you eating? How much is going into the waste? I teach people in my line of work how to save thousands and thousands of dollars by living, eating, and working like the future matters. Why would we want to spend money that we don't have? Living within our means allows us the freedom to park something that we hate, never go back there, living within our means, and then creating our dreams. Even when you have a lot of money and have everything you want, like myself, I drive secondhand cars. My electric bill is $26 a month because I invested first thing in solar panels. There's ways to save money so you can be freed up not to have to make so much money. So many. And I would love the opportunity to open up that discussion further with anybody who wants to have it, because we're all cut out with the old scripts like we've been talking about. More.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so loving this conversation, and there is more to be had because we are ready. You know, when we come to this place and to groups like this, when we're picking it up on any of the replays and we're sitting here and we are absorbing this, we're ready. That's a sign we're ready. We're ready to make those seemingly difficult decisions. But when you make that decision and you look back and you go, heck, that was the best thing that I could have done. In here, it feels like it's a big decision, but in reality, it's probably not that bad. It's just all the fear that's coming through that's trying to stop you and protect you from change.
Get rid of the toxic people, the toxic workplace. Once you do that, you can get to all the other layers that everybody else was just talking about. Yeah. Just identifying this is toxic. You know your triggers. You know what they are. Sometimes we just got to walk out the door and go find the right people in the right environment just to sit and be and shift. Allow yourself that you are so worthy. You deserve this. I don't love even this like so much. Yeah, but it's your birthright.
Absolutely. And humanity, you're here because you need to contribute what only you can to humanity. So once we get to honor ourselves and let go of those layers, as everyone here has mentioned, I so want to go on longer, but we are coming to the end and having to wind down, but you can carry this conversation on. jump on, get ready, and you can connect with each of these amazing souls. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly go around to everyone, and if you can explain what it is that you're working on, what offer you have available. There are going to be links in this post as well, but Vanessa, can you let us know what you've got available at the moment, please?
Yes, so I've just launched a new coaching program. So it's called Living the Dream, and it's about manifesting all your dreams into reality. And I particularly focus on developing the bigger picture, because I believe once you get the bigger picture, everything else comes together very easily. But I do have an offer for today. So I'm just offering a chance to win a free prosperity and manifesting coaching session. So that you just have to enter the draw, and I'm going to draw that on, I think it's the 15th of November. And if you visit my website, it's Vanessa LeBlanc, which is pronounced LeBlanc in Australia, .com / sacred community. And so that's an offer. You should just enter the draw and I'll draw that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Vanessa. Heather.
Yes, I am launching a free money circle where people can talk about different aspects of money, because we just haven't, it's been such a taboo subject that we don't actually talk about it in society, and there are just so many things that just go undercover, and we will have a different theme every month, and the first one will be about regret. So just being able to talk through, it's not about fixing people, but just to be able to have a forum where people can actually talk about money regrets, and just know that, you know, you're in the same boat as everyone else. It's not like you're the only one. I think it sometimes can feel that way. So just a safe place to be able to just air one's emotion around money. So it's going to start on the 18th of November. It will be the third Friday of the month. And it's at 10:30 in the morning Sydney time, which is 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, that'll be on the 17th, the American ones. But yeah, I think it would be an amazing space to be able to allow people just to be able to talk about their emotions around money.
Yeah, great. I'm always loving this. I'm very much a big advocate of trying to create more and more spaces, safe spaces. And it takes a skill to be able to hold a safe space so that people can share in the way that they need to in that moment as well. So amazing work. Thank you for that. Bronwyn.
So I have a couple of things. Connected to my Facebook page, which is Bronwyn Jane Medium, is a free group where we can go in there if we want to learn about psychic stuff, mediumship, any kind of personal growth type of things. It's a community there. And then on Monday, the 7th of November, there's also a free offering, which is a free education space that I'm doing a webinar, which you would join on my website, bronwynjanemedium.com, where we're doing some psychic development stuff for free. And on bronwynjanemedium.com /podcast is where there's some other free offerings for anyone that's drawn to. That's how to raise your vibe, how to shift some energy and put you in a nice kind of energetic space, and some ebooks there, and even offerings for courses. I have a college. So there's lots of things on my website for anyone that feels drawn to jump across and get all the kind of free goodies that are on there for people.
Amazing. Thank you for that, Bronwyn. Sounds quite extensive too. It's amazing bringing that woo-woo and joining it in with the practical. Amazing. Donna.
Oops, sorry. Hey, Chester says, go for it, Mom. Give him the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have on my website, donnamultz.com, there's a section up there that says freebies. But the most important thing that I just recently did was started a new membership, which is actually a way to expose people to not just what I'm doing, but what other great change makers, thought leaders, and health professionals are doing. And so you get a lot of things in this free membership, including copies of my books and etc. But I would love for people to go to the website and see that. And then pre-COVID, we were starting to do these holistic culinary healing art retreats at my home here. I'm going to show you where my office is. where we also have a vacation rental here, and anybody who comes and wants to stay for here on rental, who comes from this program, you would get 20% off. And I never do that, but this is, we're talking money here. And then we also are starting up again our one-on-one holistic treats where people will come and have all their meals prepared. They'll get culinary classes, nature therapy, and they'll learn how to live, eat, and work like the future matters. And I'm especially looking where we, in the past, is primarily women who come from burnout to bliss, which is a course that I have coming up, which I'll let you guys know about when that comes, but who are really wanting to rest, relax, and rejuvenate in this beautiful paradise. So yeah, I encourage everybody just to go on donnamaltz.com if you're ready to redefine success and wealth. Anything I can do to serve you. I also offer a free 30-minute consultation, and I mentor a lot of people, and I love you for coming and staying on and being part of this redefining success and wealth. And thank you so much for having me on here, and Sophia always for holding the house down. And Tag, you're amazing, Heather. I'm going to say your name wrong, but Vanessa and Bronwyn. I just think, you know, I'm just for me, because I might not have a chance to say another word, but this was really great. And I hope we can do this again and inspire and help more people find the help that they need and require to be the best version of themselves and make a difference with their precious, blessed lives.
Love. I love this so much. Thank you so much for that, Donna. So, you know, I just feel so filled. And if you're watching this on the replay, oh my goodness, you need to reach out to whoever it is. And you know, you've got all of the links that are going to be made available. I'm going to hand over to Sophia, who's got some messages there for you as well. But it's been an absolute honor. Thank you, my beautiful souls, for joining me here today. I feel incomplete though, because I feel like we just scratched the surface, but that's the invitation for us to explore deeper and go even further with that. So feel free to unmute yourselves if you want to have one last quick thing to say before Sophia joins us.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you very much. I really enjoyed this session, and everybody had a lot of great tips. And, you know, I was really impressed with Donna's, you know, compost analogy. I thought that was really special. So, no, but thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure that there's a lot of room for all the listeners to grow and also release their money blocks and generate that prosperity. It's not limited to any of us. It's available to all, and everyone can do it. It just does require a little bit of effort, like anything, but you do get rewarded in the end.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Anyone else? No, everyone's all good. So if I may, thank you. Can I thank everyone for being here? And thank you, Tanga. Before we finish off, of course, Tanga, you're the host of Restore Your Inner Money Guru Tribe as part of our sacred community. So would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, again, so the community, we meet once a week on Sundays at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be 3 p.m. Daylight Savings Time. And then the day before, if you're on the Northern Hemisphere. So come in again, similar to what Heather was talking about. It's about having a safe space so that we can have real conversations around money, so that we can really start to clear some of this stuff out and then allow room for what we need to be moving through.
Absolutely. And you've had such a wonderful conversation here, as you were saying, everyone's saying we need to go deeper and to have more opportunities. And I know that you do that in your tribe, and I'm very grateful for it. So for everyone who is watching either the live or the replay, of course, do click on the links below to connect with all these amazing women and everything that they're offering. Take just definitely take advantage of all these opportunities and come back again. We're having a break for a couple of weeks, but on the 16th of November here in Australia, the 15th in America, is Being Enough, Stepping into Your Power. There will be links for that in the comments very, very soon. And if you don't know about who our sacred community is, or sacredu.love, sacredu.love is a website for our sacred community. Come and join us. You can come and join us just for $1 Australian. And for that, you get 3 weeks to come and join Tanya's tribe. So you get 3 of her meetings, plus all of our other tribes. And you never know, maybe, just maybe by then, Donna might have her tribe up, Living Like the Future Matters, something like that. Sometime soon, we will have Donna's tribe. And after the 3 weeks, it's just $15 Australian a month. So do definitely click on those links and come and join us. Come and have some fun, and you get to also come to all our panel discussions as well. So again, I'd just like to thank everyone for being here. It was an honor. I got lots of tips. I know everyone who is listening got lots of tips. This is a wealth of knowledge. We definitely have to have it again. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.